community, welcome back to a new episode of RB's Vinyl Corner. I'm enjoying a cup of tea. To be more specific, I'm drinking Indian chai tea from a brand that's called Celestial Seasonings. And I'm not here to advertise any of their products, but it's just so great that I kind of got a little bit addicted to this. I mixed this up with some hot milk and some honey, and it's absolutely amazing. And I drink a lot of this stuff lately. Really good. Also today I'm wearing my Han Solo t-shirt. I don't know if you can see it here, but I'm really excited because they're actually playing for a limited time. They're playing the 40th anniversary of The Empire Strikes Back, which is playing in the cinemas, and I'm really excited to go there because I am a big Star Wars fan. Anyway, welcome back to a new episode of RB's Vinyl Corner. Sit back and enjoy this episode because I do realize that my episodes on Vinyl Corner are pretty rare these days, but I'm really intending to come back on a more regular basis starting in January and show you a more variety of stuff. For now, as you came to know me a little bit better in the last couple of episodes, you saw that I am a huge Golden Earring fan. It's a band that I actually really grew up with. And throughout the years I really enjoyed their music, and they are part of the soundtrack of my life. And here's this Dutch music label which is called Music on Vinyl, re-releasing a lot of their stuff on beautiful colored vinyl, and I'm really a big fan of those reissues. And in the previous videos I showed you my collection on the colored vinyls so far, but in the meantime a couple more were released, and I just need to show you these wonderful additions to my fastly growing Golden Earring collection. And I'm so excited because the Music on Vinyl label, they really also not only specialized in re-releasing beautiful vinyl albums, but also they bring you vinyl albums that have never been before released on vinyl. And especially also here with this Golden Earring stuff, there are some albums that they made in the 90s and throughout the 2000s that never ever been released on vinyl, and Music on Vinyl actually did it. And recently they released the beautiful album Paradise and Distress, and that was the last studio album that had never been before released on vinyl, and now finally available on vinyl, making the studio collection of the Golden Earring records complete. And there are only 2 more albums in the official Golden Earring catalog that has not been released on vinyl yet. Those are Naked 3, which is the 3rd in the Naked Truth series, and the live album from 1999, which is called Last Blast of the Century. Hopefully, and I can't think about a reason why they shouldn't, they will also release those albums in the near future, making the Golden Earring vinyl collection absolutely 100% complete. Anyway, having said that, since the last video, a couple more albums were released on beautiful colored vinyl, and I really want to show you them. Last year, Golden Earring celebrated their 50th anniversary. Not their official 50th anniversary, but the 50th anniversary of the current lineup. The current lineup meaning that Barry Hay, George Clemens, Rinus Gerritsen, and César Zuiderwijk. In 1970, in 1969, César Zuiderwijk replaced drummer Pieter de Ronde, making the final lineup complete of the Golden Earring, and they still exist in that lineup until this very, very day. And while recording new material becomes very rare for the Golden Earring in the last couple of years, they did record a special single which is called Say When, to commemorate on this 50th anniversary. And they came up with, and of course Music on Vinyl released this also in a physical single. It's called Say When, and it's the 50th anniversary single, and it was released, as you can expect of course from Music on Vinyl, on beautiful colored vinyl, and in this case on gold color. And the adapter you can see in the middle is a special Golden Earring adapter. And the B-side of this is Back Home, which was their first single they released as in the current lineup. So this is Say When, the last studio recording of the Golden Earring so far, and hopefully we just can. I mean, we can wish, we can dream. They will come up with some new stuff, but it's highly doubtful. But anyway, I'm really excited to have this in my Golden Earring collection. All right, now I'm going to show you all these latest additions in my vinyl collection on Golden Earring. And I'm going to show you in order of release, not in order of music on vinyl release, but in their official order of release. And that brings me to, and I'm really excited about this one, that brings me to the first one I'm going to show you, which is called Golden Earring Miracle Mirror. And I'm really excited about this one because this is one of the two albums that I previously never owned on vinyl before. I have it on CD, but I never had it on vinyl. And it's not because it's very difficult to get. I mean, there are copies around it, but I just never got it. And so recently, and this is the latest edition in my collection, I just got it a couple of days ago. This is also released by Music on Vinyl, but this is not in the current re-releases, but this is basically actually released in 2012 as part of their Dutch vinyl masters. And they released a couple of albums from the Dutch music catalog, and they released it in a series of Dutch vinyl masters. And every album they released in that series, they released in 3 different versions: on white, on red, and on blue vinyl, obviously representing the colors of the Dutch flag. So recently I found a copy of this one on the internet, and I was really excited to get this because this is really an essential part in my colored music on vinyl collection. It's the 3rd album released by the Golden Earrings in 1968, and it was basically a turn point in the career because this is the first album that contains Barry Hay as the new lead singer, replacing Frans Krassenburg. It also marked a new direction in their music style, because this one, the previous 2 were more like beat and pop music, and this one more has a more psychedelic sound. And the addition of Barry Hay really makes a huge difference in their overall sound. It came in a wonderful gatefold, and like I said before, it's released on beautiful colored vinyl, and in this case I got myself the red one, but I know there's also a white one and a blue one circulating around, and if I'm correct, there are only 333 copies on each color. This one has the original Polydor label, which is pretty nice because recently the new re-releases of Golden Earring albums on Music on Vinyl, they're all released with the Red Bullet label, which of course is the Golden Earring's own label. But this is, I'm really excited about having this one in my collection. Again, it's the first time, and this is, yeah, it's a fun album. I think my most favorite tunes from this one is The Truth About Arthur, which I really love. And the other one that is really great on this one is I've Just Lost Somebody, which is also their single that came off from this album. So this is Miracle Mirror, Golden Earrings. So, okay, the next one is called On the Double. And this is the other album that I never ever owned on vinyl before. So this is for me also the first time I have this record in a vinyl edition. It was released in 1969, and it was inspired actually by the White Album from the Beatles. And the Golden Earring went like, oh, if they can do a double album, well, why can't we do that? So they came up with this album, and I think this is the most diverse album they ever made, because there are a lot of different musical directions on this one. It has some poppy, some beats, some psychedelic, but it also has some really hard rocking songs, like for example, the opening song, Song of a Devil's Servants, which is an amazing song. Really shows a more rocking Golden Earring that would determine the sound from for the albums that were following this one up in their whole direction in the 70s. So this is On the Double. It's a great album with great songs on this. Song of the Devil's Servant. They would re-record it again for the next album, 8 Miles High. I showed you that one in the previous video. But they would add some more acoustic guitars and a more lengthy intro into that. This is more like the rocking version of it. Great tunes on this one. Angelina, Judy, Murdoch 9, 6182, which is one of my favorite songs on this album. Just a Little Bit of Peace in My Heart, which is their hit song from this album. It has Remember My Friend, which is a beautiful song. And also it has the first ever piano-based song called The Grand Piano. Very, very nice album. It's released also on red vinyl in this case. So there you go. And like I told you before on the previous record, they didn't use the Polydor label for this one, but instead of that they used the Red Bullet label. I'd rather had seen the Polydor label, but okay, you can't have it all, right? It's nevertheless a beautiful album, and it actually sounds really good. It sounds a lot better than other recordings I heard from this album. Yeah, so there you go, on the double. Pretty excited to have this one finally in my collection. All right, we're gonna make a step forward to 1971. They released a beautiful album called 7 Tears. It contains 7 songs. And this one actually is a fantastic album that has some great songs on this, including one of my most favorite Golden Earring songs of all times, which is called She Flies on Strange Wings. A really hard rocking, almost metal kind of a song, but then with saxophone in the mix, which is really great. What the Golden Earring does in such a great way is mixing this really hard rocking riffs and music with fantastic acoustic interludes, flute in the mix, and then saxophones. And that's actually pretty amazing, and it's pretty progressive also, especially considering the time when this was recorded. Came in a wonderful gatefold sleeve with some song lyrics inside, and opening with a great song. It's called Silver Ships, which is a really small song, and then blast into The Road Swallowed Her Name, which is a very nice hard rocking song. Great songs on this one. And of course, it came on colored vinyl again. And this time it was released on beautiful green vinyl. Although I'm really fond of the music on vinyl re-releases, they also tend to make some small mistakes in their releases. In this case, you can see on the label that in the song listing they used the two times. It's song 1, 2, and 2. But other than that, the sound of this is amazing, and it's an overall amazing album that is really great. It's amongst my favorite albums. But again, I'm a big Golden Earring fan, and I say that of a lot of albums. I know that, and I do realize that. This is 7 Tears. I really love this one, and I'm really happy to have a music on vinyl edition of this album in my collection. The next one is the latest re-release in the musical vinyl series. It came out a little over a week ago. This is their 1972 album, Together. And I gotta tell you that the sleeves, the material they use, it's really sturdy and it's really high quality, and I really appreciate that. It's really cool. Together is a 1972 album, has some great songs here. It has their big hit Buddy Joe, but also one of the highlights in this one for me is a song called Brother Wind, with this extensive drum solo of Cesar Zarduig. Pretty cool. Yeah, pretty cool album. Yeah. Also, a great song is From Heaven From Hell, with this fantastic high vocals of George Corbin's. Really, really out of this world. So this is Together. Great album. And it came on beautiful, they call it psychedelic green, but it's more like a splattered green. And it's wonderful, right? And also it has the Red Bullet logo. Beautiful album, guys. I'm so happy with these re-releases. It's amazing, and they sound fantastic. This album definitely sounds a lot better than the original pressing. I know that a lot of people swear by original pressings, but if something is better, why not just admit it? And this one, these are remasters. They absolutely sound amazing. The next one is not only their best live album, but it's also one of the best live albums ever overall. It's a 1977 Golden Earring Live, recorded in London over 2 nights, and this is an amazing album. The live versions of these songs are just stunning. By this time, they also had a second guitarist, which is called Elko Gelling, and that guy was like a crazy good guitarist, and it really added to the heavy sound of the Earrings. There were no saxophones included in this show, so all the sax parts, for example, on a song like She Flies on Strange Wings, are replaced by a second guitar, and that makes these songs way heavier than they usually were. But the atmosphere of this album, the live sound, and the whole production of this album is, from start to finish, it's a roller coaster ride. It's really amazing. One of the very best live albums ever. And again, this is on red vinyl. They do release a lot of albums on red. And again, on the Red Bullet label. Very nice album. This has really cool versions of Mad Love's Coming, Candy's Going Bad, Vanilla Queen, of course Radar Love, She Flies on Strange Wings, Fighting Windmills. Amazing album. If you want to have a good introduction in Golden Earring and you never heard them before, get this album and you will be blasted away. Golden Earring Live from 1977. And then the last one that I'm going to show you, which is also an album that I was really excited that they released it on vinyl. I waited many years for this because it was never been before released on vinyl, and I was stoked that Music on Vinyl announced a release of this one. And finally, with this one, I could complete my studio collection of studio albums of Golden Earring. And in this case, it's called Paradise in Distress. And this is the 1999 album. And this is the 20th anniversary edition of that album. So it's pretty cool if you realize that after 20 years, they finally came up with a vinyl release of this one. So it's a beautiful gatefold sleeve. And it has 3 sides, and the 4th side of this album is etched, showing the logo, which is also used on the label, but then etched over the complete side. So I'm going to show you that. This is like silver gray vinyl, and you can see on the label the bird, and that same bird they etched on the D side of this album. And I don't know if you can see it because of the glare, but I think you should be able to see it like this. There you go. So that's Paradise in Distress. It's an overall kind of darker album than the previous albums of the Earrings, and a little bit experimental also. And I remember that when this came out for the first time, I wasn't really a fan of this album. It took me a while to start appreciating this album, especially when I got a little older. It's where I started really appreciating this. Some great songs here. Apocalypse, really good. The Fighter, really good. I was never a big fan of Paradise in Distress, but it's an okay opener for this album. One Night Without You, pretty good. Fluid Conduction, and this beautiful ballad sung by George Cormish, which is called Whisper in a Crowd. This is Paradise in Distress, and the artwork, by the way, is amazing. I really love it. So finally, that concludes the studio albums on vinyl. Again, it's waiting for 2 more albums, which are Naked 3 and Last Blast of the Century, which are basically 2 live albums. And hopefully they will also release those on vinyl, and I hope they will do that soon. I hope you enjoyed this video. This another video on golden earring. I'm intending to do some more videos in the future. Also go back to Elvis Presley videos and other videos. Especially starting from January, I will be back on a more regular basis. Hey, if you like what I'm doing, please subscribe to my channel, and also thumbs up or down if you don't like this video. And leave a comment if there's any album here that you like, or if you have some golden earring records that you want to share with me. Please comment, and I will surely also check out your videos. See you in the next video. Take care.